We're starting on the main page of cBioPortal. You can see the full GENIE cohort listed, as well as the non-small cell lung and colorectal BPC studies. We're going to select the colorectal cohort, and we're going to start by exploring it. So this brings us to our study view for interactive cohort exploration. This is a really great place to understand the data that's available and to explore it. So here we see a number of charts, each summarizing some of the data that's available, and let's go through them. We'll start with the cancer type detail chart. This is giving us the breakdown of the specific type of cancer. So 71% of this cohort is colon adenocarcinoma, 18% is rectal, and smaller percentages of these others. Next, we have this summary of the genomic data that's available. So all of the samples in the cohort have mutations, and most of them have copy number alterations and structural variants called as well. That genomic data is then summarized below. So this table shows the most frequently mutated genes. We can see that 75% of the cohort has APC mutation, 70% have P53 mutation, and so on. And these tables summarize genes involved in structural variants and subject to copy number alterations. Now, we have a number of pie charts running down the side here that are summarizing some of our clinical and demographic data. So we have the breakdown by sex. The cohort is 54% male. We can see the breakdown by ethnicity. And what I want to point out is when my mouse hovers over the pie chart, it's pulling up this table so you can know exactly what each slice corresponds to and the specific numbers and percentages. Continuing along, we have a number of charts indicating whether or not the patient had a metastasis in a specific location at the time of diagnosis. So for example, 36% of this cohort had a liver metastasis at diagnosis. Now, these metastatic fields are specific to diagnosis, so they're only populated for patients that were diagnosed at stage 4. Anyone diagnosed at an earlier stage falls into this NA category. But you might notice we don't have a visible chart for stage at diagnosis. By default, cBioPortal only shows you a subset of the available data, but all of the data is available in this charts menu. So we can select stage at diagnosis. It's going to add as a pie chart down at the bottom of the page, and now we can see 47% of this cohort was diagnosed at stage 4. Now, I'd like to come back to two charts in the middle of the page that I've skipped so far, and these are related to treatment. So the first chart is telling us, did this patient receive a particular drug? We can see, for example, that 866 patients in this cohort received irinotecan at some point in their clinical course. The second chart breaks it down by timing. So for the sample that was sequenced, was that acquired before or after the patient received a particular drug? So these are really powerful charts for treatment-related questions. If you want to look into genomic mechanisms of resistance to a particular therapy, you can really easily select those samples right here. So for example, I can filter down to the set of samples acquired after treatment with irinotecan. I check the box and now notice how all of these charts just updated. We can see this at the top of the page. We're looking now just at the 167 samples acquired after treatment with irinotecan. So all of these charts let you apply filters, and you can layer multiple filters together. So we can, for example, say, let's look at specifically the subset of samples with P53 mutations. I can select those, all the charts update again. Now we're looking at the samples that have a P53 mutation and were acquired after treatment with irinotecan. So in this way, you can not just explore the cohort, but hone in on subsets of samples and explore the features of those subsets, making this a really powerful way to get to know your data.